Here's the uncomfortable truth. Being an industry puppet is a skill set, and Taylor Swift turned it into a power move. She learned how the machine runs, masters publishing, touring, distribution, and then rewired it so the levers pull for her. The re-recordings weren't nostalgia, they were leverage. The AMC concert film wasn't a one-off, it was a direct, smarter deal. And the NFL crossover wasn't luck. It was a plan to reach new viewers you can actually measure. In this breakdown, we'll bring proof, dates, dollars, and decisions to show how puppetry becomes strategy when you own your story, your sound, and your schedule. Follow the strings and see who's holding them. We start in Pennsylvania, a kid with a notebook and a guitar. Then, Nashville. She writes every day and plays every room that will have her. The Big Machine years turn diary-style songs into country pop radio. She tours hard. She meets fans after shows. The bond feels one-to-one even in huge rooms. But here's what almost no new artist understands. She owned the songs, but not the masters. That's normal, but it sets a clock in the background. Each album sharpens the rollout. Themed visuals, little clues, fans decoding posts together. In 2018, she moves to Republic and UMG on stronger terms. That choice sets up everything that follows, especially the fight to control her recordings. In 2019, her early recordings, the masters, are sold to a new owner without her approval. It's a common industry move, but this time the audience understands what it means. Overnight, fans learn the difference between recordings and songwriting rights. The choices look bad. Accept the new status quo, or fight a catalog you don't legally control. She chooses a third path, re-record the albums that were sold. Add the tag Taylor's version, tell radio, brands, and fans, use these. It's simple, it's legal, and it shifts demand toward her side. At the same time, live demand explodes, ticket lines crash, resale prices jump. Politicians and regulators start asking hard questions about the ticketing system. The narrative splits. Critics see her as the industry's favorite. Supporters say she's exposing how the system really works. Here is the image to remember. Your work is everywhere, but the first tapes aren't yours. So you build a better theater next door, and then you lead the crowd inside. Let's decode the machine in plain English. Start with rights. Owning your recordings means you control the sound that people hear. You approve syncs. You set license terms. You collect the bigger checks when a recording is used. Songwriting royalties matter, but the masters are the steering wheel. When her re-record window opened, she re-released key albums. The old versions cooled. The new versions became the default. Radio, advertisers, and fans followed a simple signal. Use Taylor's version. That is leverage you can hear. Now, distribution. Why hand a concert film to a studio if you can go direct? The AMC deal showed a cleaner path. Keep more upside. Keep more control. Theaters turn into giant merch tables with surround sound. Pre-sales feel like drop day. Fans arrive in costume. The event markets itself. Touring is the content engine. Every show creates moments, surprise songs, local references. Clips pour into feeds for months. That steady drip keeps streams high, keeps merch moving, and keeps demand alive between releases. Look at comparable playbooks. Beyoncé used surprise drops and direct film deals. Bad Bunny turned touring into a cultural highway. But at this scale, no one else linked re-records, a self-directed film release, and a world tour into one tight loop. Music feeds film. Film feeds tickets. Tickets feed streams. Streams feed brand value. Round and round. Here's the bottom line. Control the assets. Design the calendar. Treat distributors like partners, not parents. That's how a so-called puppet becomes the choreographer of the whole stage. Awards do not create power, they confirm it. The turning point arrives on live television when she wins a record-breaking 4th album of the year at the Grammys and uses that moment to announce a new album. No promotion, no campaign, only a title and a date. The message is clear. Her schedule now shapes the industry's schedule. What follows is a shift in scale. The Eras Tour evolves from a concert series into an economic event. Cities see hotel occupancy rise, transportation systems fill up, and local tax revenue increases. Coverage becomes less about music and more about measurable civic impact. She applies the same thinking to her concert film. Instead of releasing it through a studio, she partners directly with theaters. Premium tickets, packed openings, and record-breaking performance for its category show that a concert movie can function like high-value merchandise. The final piece is control. Re-recordings continue moving listeners toward her versions, and reporting suggests she regains ownership of her early recordings. With that, the arc that began in 2019 reaches its closure. Public framing shifts from industry favorite to industry operator. When your versions dominate streams and your release decisions reshape distribution models, the puppet narrative loses its foundation. Each era introduces a clear creative identity. Musically, she shifts styles without losing her core vocabulary. Detailed storytelling, elevated bridges, and memorable phrasing. Collaborators like Jack Antonoff and Aaron Dessner help her move between synthpop and intimate folk tones while maintaining continuity. Visually, each era forms its own world, colors, typography, and textures that translate directly into merchandise. Fans adopt these looks, turning aesthetic choices into participatory marketing. The most important label element is the Taylor's Version tag. It functions as a simple directive for listeners, artists, and commercial partners. This is the version to support. Rollouts become interactive through coded clues, Easter eggs, and shared rituals at live shows. Fans experience releases as events rather than isolated drops. Variants and limited editions reinforce the idea that purchasing is a way to participate in the era. Rebranding does not replace the artist. It organizes her into chapters the audience can follow. Touring results speak for themselves. The Eras Tour breaks records across multiple continents, with attendance, revenue, and civic impact reported like statistics from sports seasons. The concert film strengthens this pattern, setting a new benchmark for its category. Theaters become extensions of the fan community, with the audience contributing heavily to the atmosphere and visibility. Commercial performance mirrors this momentum. Albums remain at the top of the charts for extended periods. Singles cluster near the upper ranks during release cycles, and vinyl sales stay strong despite the dominance of streaming. Brands align their campaigns with her release calendar, treating these cultural moments as reliable opportunities. Even the NFL crossover demonstrates measurable impact in viewership and merchandise trends. When partners can quantify your influence, negotiations shift accordingly. Successful records are built collaboratively. Jack Antonoff shapes the polished, radio-ready sound with structured synth layers and rhythmic clarity. Aaron Dessner contributes more intimate arrangements that provide emotional space. Featured artists expand tone and texture while preserving the central voice. The songwriting focuses on clear language, precise imagery, and structurally strong bridges. This formula carries songs from personal listening to viral use and eventually to stadium-scale performance. The consistency across collaborators shows intentional leadership rather than dependency. Critics argue that saturation, pricing structures, and brand partnerships create a sense of overexposure. They also point to private travel and firm legal boundaries around privacy as signals of excess. Supporters counter with contractual and economic context. Re-recordings restore artistic leverage, direct distribution increases creative freedom, and large tours generate measurable benefits for cities and workers. Many challenges, such as ticket pricing and security demands, reflect broader industry conditions rather than individual choices. The reality sits between both views. The model is effective, but it raises legitimate questions about access and sustainability. Large-scale touring pushes physical limits for performers and crews. Fans experience long waits, high demand, and logistical complications. Safety concerns require extensive planning across security, legal support, and crisis management. Environmental considerations add another layer of scrutiny. Responsible operation requires mitigation, transparency, and deliberate planning. The industry puppet label does not match the evidence. Her strategy rests on ownership, narrative control, and carefully timed releases. It is not flawless, but it is structured, teachable, and widely influential. Next video, How to Be an Industry Puppet, the Tate McRae Strategy. Subscribe so you don't miss it.